And welcome into Indian Time here on MuscogeeMedia.com. I'm Jason Salzman with Jessica McBride as we get ready to run down the news happenings and everything going on Monday, April 18th. And so getting the week started, getting everything in order, but want to do a little bit of house cleaning and take care of some business from last week, actually. We were actually joined last week as a surprise appearance. Christopher Asbell stopped in, and not only is he now in the Chiefs cabinet, but when they started the Dugout Canoe Project, he was actually with the Cultural Center and Archives Department. And, it was a vision of Mike Berryhill's to make this dugout canoe. And so Chris stopped in, talked about not only were they having Dugout Canoe Week, where you could go over and see it being fashioned and finished, but at the end of the week, they were going to sort of put the stamp on it with a tribute to Mike Berryhill. And what better way to do that, they thought, than to basically go out to the Mike Berryhill cultural place where they do these bow shoots and things like that, and plant the same kind of tree that was used to make this canoe, a poplar log. And as you can see, officials are out there, Chief Floyd, Second Chief Hicks, along with people from Alabama themselves, and planting that tree there. There's Butch Fuller from Alabama that actually was the lead woodworker on that. Chris Asbell, as you can see, talking to citizens as they give it some good water, give it a good foundation. Not only is that paying tribute to Mike Berryhill, as I said, but it's also making that place a little more beautiful, having a big, nice tree out there, and everybody will know what it signifies. And it's nice to see some of Mike Berryhill's family out there as well, as part of that ceremony. So I thought that was a pretty neat way to do it.
It sounds like it was pretty cool. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, I had a funeral on Friday. I mean, not everybody needs to know my business, but I mean, sometimes I'm not able to make things here. So I hated to be able to miss that, but it was it's a great ceremony. And as a guy that, off camera and everything, was a friend and an admirer of Mike Berryhill's, it's a great thing. So I was really jazzed that they did that, and it's a neat project. And you can see the canoe right now in the dome. If you go to the dome, it's on display right there, So I believe that they have plans, of course, as we said last week, to put it in the water. I don't know when that'll be, but I promise you'll get footage. I promise. We can't miss that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you bet. So the tree planting there kind of finishes up for last week. Getting to this week, a lot of things happening here in and around Muscogee Creek Nation. Actually, to get us started off with our work as far as getting interviews, getting stories and features for not only website content, but for Native News Today this week. We're going to be talking with not only one of the nationwide's most known Native American cartographers, Mr. Aaron Carapella. He's going to be coming down, talking with him. If people watch the show and have been a fan of the show for a while, you'll remember Aaron made the Tribal Nations maps, and I'm going to go to his website here. Jared, if you can pull that up there. The Tribal Nations maps, and as you can see there, he's got his signature. But also, you go down here, and it's just a lot of information on how he got started, some of the people that's received his maps, and as you can see there, it's our traditional names and locations. So everything here was done traditionally minded, and it's not just a map of the United States as it is, it's a map of the United States as it was pre-contact. And you can look in here, he's had newspaper articles, radio interviews, things like that, where you can go and see, and then actually a gallery where you can look at some of these the shots that he's had as he's took this map all over. You can see there's school children learning about our traditional places, our traditional names of our tribes, what we call ourselves. I thought that's pretty cool. That's a big part of it. And it's not a name given, but a name that is from these inherent tribes and what they called themselves. So that was really neat. He expanded into one that covered all of North and Central America. So that's a big project for him. I can't wait to have Aaron back in to talk to him about this great project. Speaking of maps, we got another having to do with maps though, but I'll pull up here, Jessica, the new map basically put out by the Citizenship Office. So what are we looking at here?
Well, it looks like they've taken the entire citizenship and divided up upon where they live in the United States and around the world, actually. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really, really cool to see, how many citizens that we have in different places, especially, foreign countries.
Very much so. Surprisingly, most creeks are in Oklahoma. That's I just didn't expect that. Actually, all kidding aside, it is a little surprising to see 4,400 though in California. That's a big number.
It is a big number.
That's a big number. We've talked about the California Creek Association. California, not really, you don't think of natives a lot in California. I mean, you should, because there's many there. And as you see from Aaron Carapella's maps, there were a ton before contact, but it's kind of crazy because, it's maybe they're a little under identified, you know what I mean, out there.
Well, and they've got their association out there in California, and then of course, New Mexico has an association, and I believe there's one started up in Tennessee.
Yeah, and let's just look at some of these going through here. There's a large population of creeks in Texas, of course. You go 1 Oklahoma, 2 California, 3 Texas. Then it gets a little interesting. I mean, of course, we're going to have a lot in Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, neighboring states.
Well, there's a lot in Arizona, too.
Yeah, in Arizona, but go all the way up there in the Northwest, 654 in Washington State. To me, that's pretty, alarming, as well as the 612 in Oregon. I mean, that's,
132 in New York.
Yeah, I know. I just, that's just, interesting to me.
I find it interesting.
Yeah, I do too.
Because back in the traditional homelands, we do have citizens that are living back in Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, and you got look over here to the right. Now it's crazy that there are 5 Creek citizens in the UK. So
I think that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
I'd even be interested to see, how many of those are private citizens, or how many of them are actually, military and are stationed in
That's
these foreign
probably
countries.
true. Yeah, I think that's probably where you're getting most of it, the data there. The very small populated in the 50 United States. Not many creeks in Vermont, which that's not a shock. But up to the Northeast, you look up there, and this brings up something too that's kind of funny. The first time I ever went to the Museum of the American Indian, I walked in and I was like, where's the creek stuff? That's the first thing I wanted to see. And it was like, I walked out like the most, disappointed guy on the face of the earth, because it was like a pair of moccasins, and they were like, oh, there's our creek exhibit, which, whatever. But I just thought, I don't even know if it was a pair of moccasins. I just mean to say that it was very minimal. There was like one thing. And so, but there was all these tribes from the Northeast that I'd never even heard of. And there was some from Connecticut and Vermont and everything like that. I was like, what? They totally forgot about the Oklahoma tribe.
Did you see any zeros on there for any of the states? Like any states where we have no citizens?
There's a creek in every in every state, it looks like.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive. I mean, yeah. Because, there's some that are, like I said, Vermont, Rhode Island, very low numbers. But I don't see one single zero. Does anybody else?
I don't either.
I'm not missing it, yeah.
And citizens, we've shared this from the citizenship page, the citizenship Facebook page. So if you're interested in seeing this, go visit us on Facebook, Native News Today, or the Muscogee Nation News, and you'll be able to see that map.
Yeah, it's a great tool, like I said, and what I was really wanting to hammer home is the fact that you can look at it and kind of see where we're at and see how many of us there are, and it's really good. It's something I think that people have wanted from the something like that from the citizenship office for quite some time, and it's great that they're able to provide it. So, so you look at that map there, map with Aaron Carapella, map with Joseph Anderson. Joseph Anderson's been doing a lot of work with creek boundaries, tribal towns, things like that, mapping those out as well. We're in kind of a renaissance around here, it seems like, where we're, trying to accurately get some things in order for educational purposes as we go forward. So, you'll never advance until you know exactly who you are, where you came from, and that goes with all of that. So, bringing up our next item, as we move past all of that, we go to waiting. We're waiting on some answers. We put in some questions. So.
Just an update on some things that we have been following. We were hoping to get some statements on the housing department and some information that was discussed during the Hugh Committee session last week. We are waiting from Public Relations on follow-up for that. We're also waiting on some clarifications on the health deficit story, and so as soon as we have those, we'll give them to you.
Yeah, and we've put those in, those requests, just to clear up some comments that were made in the Hugh meeting that we've discussed and noted on here. But also, at the same time, we got to push forward with coverage. So we'll provide you what we can while we can right now with what we have. So everything is that we present to you is as we get it real time as much as possible. Part of the reason I'm doing a daily stream. So keeping everybody really, at 11th hour as far as the information that we're getting. So speaking of the website, go on to the website, MuscogeeMedia.com. You can see some of the news stories that we have up right now. Not Indian time, not Chief's statement. I don't believe that one's new either. Let me get to the new ones. Okay, I think this is a new one. Native Gilcrease Museum director has expansive plans. Who worked on that story?
I believe that was Gary.
Gary, okay. And anybody gauge Gary's opinion of it, or?
Oh, he was real proud of that piece. He's actually running the second half of that pre-recorded segment this Wednesday.
All right. Just plug for Muscogee Radio there. Thank you, Sterling. I'll be talking to Gary about that. Week of the Young Child was last week. That's up there. We got some other good stuff, and you can always go to our videos section right over here and see each episode as it becomes available in Native News Today, all of our Indian time broadcasts, and everything else that we put online goes right there. The local librarian publishing a book on Almogi kind of interested me. Who's working on that?
Amanda did that piece.
Okay, what's going on with that? What's happening?
Well, we get books mailed to us all the time, and anytime I get anything cultural or historical, I take it to her desk. And they actually did some pretty extensive work on Creek Nation, of course.
Cool.
The whole reason the city exists, as the lady acknowledges, is because of the Creek tribe. So she starts with removal and tracks us along with, of course, other local history, including the million and billionaire era of the oil boom also. Cool.
Very neat. And if you go down and explore and look around our site a little bit, you can see radio archives as well. You can listen, you can read. If you want something not so newsy and want to hear some editorial, some commentary, Gary's column, Darren's column, and Joy Harjo's column right there. DeLon's Corner, Emma Panaya, one who tells the story, that would be Mr. Fife in all his regalness. And coming and going, Joy Harjo, she does a great job with that, and she's always traveling, so it's kind of a travel blog from a Muscogee woman's perspective, and one that can do lots of different things. Well, we got something coming in. That's another thing. Please ask us questions.
We can do yet.
And always, if you have questions or things that we need to cover.
From PR saying Mr. Bucktrot has notified them that he has a meeting with the chief on Wednesday to discuss the questions we were just mentioning.
Okay.
And he will release a statement that day following that meeting.
Okay.
All right. Did
Awesome.
everybody hear that? Thank you so much, PR, for that response and giving it to us here on Indian Time so we can give it to you folks. Mr. Bucktrot will be meeting with the principal chief on Wednesday to discuss the questions that have been presented. And
Hopefully we'll have an update for Indian Time on Wednesday at 3:30. And if not on Wednesday, if it's later in the day, we'll bring it to you on Thursday at 3:30.
Yeah. Because Wednesday afternoon may get here and I may just not feel like doing it. Be like, I'm not doing it. Turn the camera off. I've had it. No, it's great. That's why we do this. That's really cool. You just saw PR hit us up during the broadcast. Everybody's kind of pulling on the same rope around here to try to get the information. So we appreciate that, and timely. Allowing us to give an update to our citizens rather than just, saying what it was beforehand. So really cool. Thanks a lot to them for that.
And for citizens out there, too, if you have questions or you have story ideas or anything you want us to look into, you can message us during the stream. It's jmoore@muscogiemedia.com, or you can just go to our website and contact any of our reporters, and we'll be happy to look into it.
Right. Yeah, and that's a great, it's a great, resource to have. I'm going to ask Jared here in just a moment to follow along with me as I set something up. But I wanted to show this as well. It's just a little further down in the timeline than I thought it was. I thought it was like at the very top. I thought it was at the very top.
Trying to show stuff to your friend on
This is good stuff. This is good stuff.
Never-ending scroll.
No, it's here somewhere.
Goodness gracious, man! I'll just have to go to the photos. Let me see if I got it in photos.
What's interesting about Facebook is a lot of times, they'll take stuff off of your timeline as you scroll through to make it shorter. Yeah. And so it's always the stuff that you're looking for has always been the item that's been removed. And
I know.
So you have
I get so fired up.
You have to research and really look into it. While he's looking that up, Hopefully we'll have an update this week. I'm hoping to have my first part of the health deficit story out.
No.
Yes.
All right.
And so,
It's about time. No, I'm just kidding.
So as I'm wrapping up this story, it's very, very number heavy. And so I want to relay that up front. But a couple of things
You mean you
I
want
did...
to apologize up front?
apologize up front. I'm
Yeah.
always the one that's obsessed with the numbers, and everyone else, doesn't quite understands. But
Yeah.
for those citizens out there that are number savvy and want to hear that kind of stuff, I've got a couple of tidbits for you that will be in this week's story. Since 2013, the Muscogee Creek Nation has increased their operating budget by 34.9%. Now that's an increase in federal funding and grants of 7.5% and an increase in tribal funding of 57%. Now for the health department specifically, since 2013, they've increased their operating budget by 46% with an increase of federal funding and grants of 5.6% and an increase in tribal funds of 128.3%. So that's through the research that I've done on the fiscal year 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016 budgets and how our departments are funded. Of course, we receive various types of funding through federal funding, grants, and then, of course, tribal funding.
Okay. Well, I am still on the look for the one picture that I promise I saw just literally a day ago. So I know it's I know it didn't say he's looking for me. I think I'll hop off and hide so he can't find me and look like a moron on this stream. So
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the hotline. My God, where is the hotline info? Is it on our
for
contact?
The Muscogee Media
Yes.
hotline? I thought it was on our contact page. Scroll down.
I did.
Well, some things
Well,
bad.
I have that actually.
Okay. I was just going to show them that nice, red, beautiful, it had the phone and everything. I mean, it was right there.
This is when you need to go slay.
I know. What is he doing? No. Oh, gosh.
Well, yeah, you can call us anonymously as well.
Yeah.
And that phone number is 539-777-1174. And what this does is it sends us a message. So we don't hear your voice. All it does is send us a message, and so we'll never know who you are. So if there is something and you're scared to kind of give your name or anything like that, feel free to call that number and give us the information.
That's right. And you can see, look at that little daily live stream graphic. It's kind of cool. Look, as we're doing Indian time, daily live stream 3:30 p.m.
This is something, since we were looking at that, you can stream through Facebook, and I know we were talking about that before. That's one of the things I don't know if we can do that through YouTube, through Facebook, but that's one of the things I'm researching is because I know that's becoming bigger and bigger, especially for news outlets to stream through their Facebook page in addition.
I know I wasn't just seeing that graphic, though. There was a graphic made, right, for the hotline?
Well,
Yeah, I ran it as an ad.
Okay.
So look it up in the edition.
Are you sure it's not on the Muscogee Media page?
I'm on the Muscogee
We
Media
have
page.
so
It's
much
okay.
social
I just
media
ding.
now.
Yeah, it's we got 9 or 10 pages. I think I saw it on Native News Today, but it's one of those things. Technology, huh? But anyway, it's out there. I promise it looks neat. Mark Hill did a good job, our graphic designer, on that. So I kind of wanted to just show off some of our stuff. That was more of the, that was more of the motivation for that. So the health teaser, got it coming out. When did you say that'll be out?
Hopefully the first story I'll have out this week. And
Okay.
so if you don't do social media or our website, of course it'll be in the May 1st edition. Most likely, and so look out for that.
Yeah, and I said, apologize for the numbers, but we've got some citizens out there that love getting a story chock full of numbers and love, jumping into it and everything like that. So it'll appeal to a lot of people, but yeah. If you're like me, you're just thumbing through looking at the pictures.
Well, it's trying to summarize.
You got a graph? Hopefully you got a graph.
I have lots of
Okay.
graphs, actually.
Thank goodness.
I have 5 or 6 graphs as
great.
of right now, and then a
Great.
complete timeline, of course, to kind of show that information.
Okay.
But, it's trying to summarize over 1,200 pages of information, which is fairly difficult.
Yeah,
so.
it is. You've been going through it in there, and she's been a little, testy around here these last few days. You got to knock on that door first before you go in. She's got,
and then when you come in my office,
Yeah.
I always have a calculator and pencil in hand.
and she's
adding
under
and
a
subtracting.
pile of papers, like somewhere under there. So, Jessica, thanks for all your hard work on that and your diligence,
problem.
making sure we got everything right on the story. Sterling, thanks for joining us here, just to kind of throw in some stuff as well and give us some information. Jared, as always, running the stream. And so I'm Jason. I just kind of sit here and talk, let you guys know what's happening. So everybody out there, keep up with us on our site, MuscogeeMedia.com. Also on our YouTube channel for anything and everything that comes out. Big interview tomorrow possibly happening. The longest walk is coming through Creek Country. They're stopping off, and we have had been reached out to by Dennis Banks' people wanting to come on and be in studio and talk about that. So we are trying to hook that up and get it everybody on the same page tomorrow and get him in here. So hopefully we'll have an interview with Dennis Banks on the website coming up.
Awesome.
Big time American Indian movement player, and now with the longest walk, hoping to combat domestic violence and drug abuse. So he's doing a good job, and Dennis has been doing the longest walk for a while now, so it's nice that they're coming through. Well, keep with us on all of our outlets, as I said, social media. Maybe one of you can find the hotline graphic. If you do, hey, more power to you. You're better at surfing than I am. All right, well, everybody have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time tomorrow. Same time, same place, MuscogeeMedia.com.